I remember when you first invited me, I said, well, what do I talk about? And you said, maybe the process of how you got started and where you're at now. So I'll begin at the beginning. I'm a teacher as well. I teach on Emerald Ridge High School. And for most of my years of teaching, I taught elementary and first grade, second grade, special education. And I got invited to work at Emerald Ridge, and I was nervous. I'm not tall. I mean, there's big kids and sometimes an attitude, but I love the high school kids. They're awesome. And so I do the writing. My sister Julia is an artist and she does the artwork. And it's been 3 years now. She called me with an idea. She volunteered with the reading group at a local elementary with struggling readers and kids that ELL that struggle with language. And she wanted to create a book that would really engage them about their own community and the history of it, like a civics lesson. And the main events to go to, some of the kids hadn't even been in their own city at the different museums and things to see. So she wanted to include that. So we took about 6 months. We put this together. We just copied a couple of books and put them out there. And the local librarian submitted it to, my sister Julia lives in San Diego area. And she submitted it to the San Diego Book Awards and we won. And so suddenly we had all these requests for books. So we really had to learn quickly how to be authors and publishers and promoters. And we wanted our books to really make a difference, to benefit the community. So we didn't go the Amazon route. We wanted to sell through small businesses and try and keep the prices low. So we did that. We just went from business to business and said, we're going to write this book. Would you be in it? And if you're going to be in it, would you sell it in your shop? And they said, yes. So so we started there. We did Carlsbad, Encinitas, Oceanside, and we gave our proceeds to early literacy programs. We donated books to the library and to schools. And so it worked out really nice. It was a great thing to do. And so we thought we would do it up here. So I've got my covers here. I don't have my Tacoma book, but here's my Puyallup book. I don't know if you can see that. But we did Tacoma first. They sold out like crazy. We did Puyallup and Olympia and Seattle, then Spokane. And during our Puyallup book came out just as the COVID came on. I mean, we were just going to have a book signing and everything shut down. So Evening Magazine was kind enough they showed our story and said that we were going to have our book online. And if people wanted to if they couldn't afford anything, that was fine. Just download the book and use it. But we put it on digital form and people could donate. And we ended up with $1,000 for the local food bank. So that was awesome. That was really a good thing. And now it's really getting bigger than we can handle. We're looking for a distributor. And we've actually had some people reach out in Denmark. They do a international distribution of our environmental book. It's called Dear Mother Earth, What Do We Do? And it has more of a global theme. So they wanted to take that and a 3-book series and sell them worldwide. So we'll see how that goes. Things are just in the process and we're discussing it. Again, it's a giant learning curve. We just learned how to do it regionally. So I'm not sure how we're going to figure out the whole international piece. We'll see. Yeah. So that's our story. And I too am a reader, and I love to read. I love to see kids read. In creating these books, I went to the different classes and at lunchtime and asked high school kids to help me come up with ideas, especially for the environmental book. And they were so into it. I loved it. I mean, they have ideas for books too. And a lot of art classes, they want to create a book together and do, the illustrations. And I guess my message is to everyone. It doesn't matter what age you are. You can be high school or even elementary. You can be 60 like I am and try something new. And I think when you do it with a generous heart, things come back to you. I just believe that. I think that God, the universe, responds when you just go into it with a good heart and trying to do good things. That's,
So you've got how many books?
I can't hear you.
Am I on now?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So how many books do you now? You have the 3 Pacific Northwest ones, right?
No, that's we have 5 Pacific Northwest ones.
Okay.
And 3 California books. And we've got 2 environmental books. Well, one is just about to be published, but we have 1 environmental book. So we have about 10 books.
Wow. What's the next one that's coming out?
The next one is, I don't know if you've written all these reports about how trees communicate, the hidden life of trees.
Yes.
But it's called Kevin the Talking Tree.
Very fun.
And a group of children come to the orchard to learn about trees. These trees are celebrities now, this orchard, because they found out that they can communicate. So they're teaching the children about trees. And they have karaoke night. They just their life they're sharing with the children and what they know about trees worldwide. And it's really fascinating. I'm learning a lot as I study trees. There's a tree called the colorful tree that's like psychedelic colors in its bark. That's very cool. So
wow.
Yeah. And there's some trees that are like 5,000 years old.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So
crazy.
Anyway.
And your sister, she came up with the idea, and does she do the pictures first, or do you write the story and then she does the pictures, or how does that?
I do. We talk about, first of all, do you have a sister?
I do.
Okay, then you know.
Probably I couldn't write a book with her. Let's put it that way.
I love her, but there's some tense conversations, like who knows best. I always I'm the older card, but yes, I write the story first. She helps me come up with ideas, and then she does the art. I'm not an artist, so I might send a sketch that's in my head, kind of a stick figures, and send it to her, and then she has a way of kind of taking what I have in my head and making it real. And I should say, all our characters are animals. And we did that specifically so that we could show diversity in a more open way. All these different species and animals with different needs coming together. And at least one of our characters has a challenge. We had our Olympia book, there was a student with autism. We had in one of our California books, we had a student in a wheelchair. He didn't have use of his legs. It's not part of the main story. We deal with it and just move on. But we wanted the kids to know that, you might have a disability. You're still part of the group. You can still contribute, So.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And locally, your books are at Watson's. Is that right?
In Puyallup, they're at Watson's.
Okay.
And in Tacoma, we're everywhere. We're mainly on the Proctor stores, Compass Rose, Northwest, the Northwest store,
yeah.
Learning Toys. Where else?
I was hoping we could buy them and do a book signing tonight, but that's kind of hard via Zoom.
Yeah, yeah, and they're kind of expensive in stores. Like we sell them wholesale if you buy straight from me for $7.50, but some stores sell them for $14.99, so it's double the price. So if there was a way to do some type of book signing, like I'm trying to think, I would give you the discounted price.
Okay, maybe we'll talk amongst ourselves, see who wants to order, and we could do an order, because I know I'd definitely like to order at least a couple.
Okay, good.
So that would be great.
Yeah.
Well, anyone else have questions while we're going? I'm kind of facilitating the questions here, but what are some other questions or comments?
On the book about trees that is being published soon, is that one the orchard? Oh, it's an apple orchard or fruit orchard?
Yes, it's an apple orchard. It's, yeah.
Does it talk about trees worldwide, or is it just in the US?
It talks about trees worldwide. And with each of our books, whatever topic we're on, we cater more to kids with the dialogue of the story, but then down below we have historical notes or science notes on the bottom. Yeah.
Wow, so many levels to your stories. That's awesome. So many pieces.
Yeah. I really like to call it a family book. It's not just a kid's book. It's, you know,
very cool.
A family book.
Anyone else have questions?
You may have probably mentioned this earlier, but when's the new book planning to be released?
The tree book?
The tree book, yeah.
Probably not till January. We're almost done, but there's a real log jam with getting things out. Our printer is waiting for ink and paper.
The supply chain, right?
Yeah, supply chain stuff. So we'll have to wait for that.
If people wanted to pre-order that, is that something we could pre-order if we do a group order?
Sure. You could do that. You just email me and with the number. Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
And all of our books are on ebook too, which is a lot less expensive. It's $3.99. Like a lot of teachers get the ebook. That way they can just put it up on the screen and kids can take turns reading, and that's a nice way to do it. Yeah,
very cool. Maybe I'll do that for school, but I still want to get ones for my nieces, nephews.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. And if you do go by Watson's, you might, you'll get an idea of what the books are. They have them all there. You know.
Great.
They display them really nicely.
Well, Louetta's in Tacoma, so you could hit the Proctor district, but I think the rest of us are Puyallup. So.
Right.
I'm excited to check them out. And my sister is a kindergarten aide up in Alaska, and she has a huge collection of books. And so I'm excited I see Christmas presents for her in her future.
Oh, good.
Because she's from Puyallup, but so I think that's exciting. Yeah.
That's awesome. Why I wanted to do it in November, because I was thinking Christmas shopping too. I had ulterior motives. Let's schedule this one now.
Interesting. I just read to a kindergarten class at Waller Road Elementary, and they were so cute. The Puyallup book touches on kind of when it gets to we talk about the fairground, and there was a period when there was internment there, Japanese.
We had that was one of our early speaker series, was survivors from the Japanese internment.
Is interesting. Well, it was interesting. I asked the teacher, I said, should I touch on this? Maybe that's too much. And she said, no, you read your story and then we'll talk about it. And she did it in such a beautiful way. She said, these people weren't treated very fair, were they? And these kindergartners were, no, that isn't nice. So they had a sense of the history,
Right. We need to learn from our mistakes for sure. We need our kids to learn from our mistakes. Right. Because we've are making a lot of them. So it's like,
Right.
tell the kids,
I agree.
because they're the ones that are going to fix it, right?
Right. I agree. Yeah.
So, other questions?
What has surprised you in the book writing and creating process? Like what has just been something that's surprising throughout this?
Do you know, that's a good question. When we first started this, I had no clue about the business end, that you had to get license and you had to get a business certificate, and the taxes, especially because we sell in different states, can get very complicated. We had to hire someone to do the taxes, and I'm a real quiet person, so promoting the book and going to stores and saying, will you sell this, selling your book to them, that was hard for me. So that was surprising. Negotiating, with stores, that's not easy for me either. So it's been a chance to really grow, and yeah, and the time and effort it takes to go into it, and even negotiating with my sister to think I'm in business with one other person, and we have to come up with a solution here. And you think about bigger picture, governments, countries, how they have to negotiate with all these different parties and people and ideas. I can see where it's so emotional and complicated. It just is.
Yeah.
Maybe that's your next book.
Maybe.
Negotiating and the complications with it.
I like
Yes.
it. I like
Yes.
it. Yeah. Because you're right. All the way up, you think of people doing that. Great idea, Pastor Sarah.
Yeah. And when you're in different states, that probably makes it a little bit harder.
Yes. There's a lot of sometimes very late, sometimes tense phone calls. But also support, like, hey, you did a really good job today and thank you. And, there's support too, but it's not always easy to come to a consensus.
Oh, yeah. Even though my sister's younger, she's always right, it seems like.
I wish my sister would say that, my older sister.
Yeah. Well, I'm not that much older than she is, but and I worked at Children's for 4 years, bookshop there on River Road before it closed. But I always enjoyed authors coming in and sharing their books and stuff. So yeah, and I love the books. Yeah, I did the book fair for 7 years at Maplewood. So so yeah, we have a lot of children's books.
Careful, Nancy.
I love that children's store.
Me too. I miss it. Careful, Terry. We have our book fair coming up. I might put you to work. That's probably something you don't get to do in the high school.
Who are some of your favorite or author influences, maybe, for children's books that that you kind of maybe look to or aspired to be, or were more inspired by?
I still love Eric Carle. I love him. I love his artwork and his Hungry Caterpillar. I loved his artwork and his story. And I think am I frozen here?
We can still hear you. You're good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Eric Carle and let's see, Dr. Seuss. This latest book that we did, it was with a rhyming verse, and I loved it. I think the kids love it. I don't know if the older kids will love it, but it was fun to put together. Wow. I think I did something here.
You're still here. You're still with us.
Oh, okay.
That was a great question, Carrie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing how influential books can be. I think everyone could probably name their favorite book and their favorite author and reading it, their favorite children's book and reading it over and over and over again.
Yeah, Peg Carrot. And
I love.
yeah, there's a lot of really good children's authors.
And I loved her. We had her in the store what at least once, I think twice when I worked there, and she was great.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. How did I miss that? I love her.
How did you get the idea of doing the cities? That was the first you did, was about doing the cities?
Yeah, my sister came up with that idea. She was working with a group of kids in San Diego. And she had read this. It's north of San Diego. She actually lives in a little city called Oceanside. And she was reading a book about San Diego, and the kids got so excited. It's like, they know San Diego, they were really engaged. So she thought, I'm going to do a book about Oceanside with things that they would really know. And it wasn't supposed to be anything but a silly little story that we pulled together. And like I said, the librarian submitted it to book awards, and we won.
That's awesome. Yeah, when you first said the idea behind the cities when the kids hadn't seen, I remember when I came back, I was gone for a year, came back and got a job at Graham Elementary. And I remember my first year of teaching and talking to the kids, saying something about the mountain or the ocean. And I had kids that had never been to either. And I was shocked that they live in Graham and they'd never seen the ocean or they'd never been to Mount Rainier. And I was shocked.
I teach at Emerald Ridge, and there was a few students I've talked to that haven't been to Tacoma. So I think it can be really limiting if they don't have access to that.
So I think to open those doors and make them interested in either their own city or, even if they live in Tacoma, maybe they've never been to a museum or they've never been, to whatever's featured in the book. So I think to kind of give them that gift and open doors.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I know, like, the Weedle on the Needle, which was popular when I was a kid, that was so exciting to have a book about something in Washington State that I knew about. And so it inspires kids to get interested in books, I think, because it's like, hey, I know that place. There's a whole book about it.
Yeah. It's interesting, when we did our book on Seattle, we wanted to, I think it's kind of a fun story. We wanted to bring the, the troll underneath the Fremont Bridge. We wanted to, have you seen that before? It's a structure under the Fremont Bridge. It's famous. Some UW artists created it.
Yes.
Well, we wanted to make him come alive and make him a character in the story. And we had to get permission from the artists. So I had to track down the 4 artists that had created that. And they were so thrilled that it was going to be in the story. So it worked out. But that's another thing you have to, with copyright and stuff, you have to get permission from all these different places that you write about.
Other questions or comment? You guys have had some good ones. Do you have cities coming up, cities that you want to do that you haven't done yet? Or are you going to kind of go this other way and do the kind of the more natural ones or the more earth ones?
Yeah, we were really inspired to do the, global warming is a big topic, and we wanted to address that, especially with the younger kids. But we do have Portland done. We're going to do that. It's going to be our next city book, maybe next year. And San Francisco.
Awesome.
San Francisco I'm excited to tackle that. That has some incredible history to it.
Yeah.
So you said you have Portland done, but it won't come out until next year. So what is the timeline from kind of you and your sister going, how about Yakima or whatever, and then till it actually hits the stores?
Yeah, good
sounds
question.
Like it's a longer process than I might expect.
You know, in three years, we've done 10 books. So we're really on a roll there for a while. We, sorry, my lights are flickering out here. It takes about 4 months, 4 or 5 months, from submitting it to getting it, from our creating it, submitting it, and getting it back.
Who do you submit it to?
To our printer.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we publish it ourselves, so we have to wait for the ISBN number to come back, and
how do
the
you get an
copyright.
ISBN number?
Yeah, yes.
How do you do that?
You it's a whole process I had to learn about. There's a place that you send away for a number, and then we have to get it okayed by the Library of Congress, and then we're good to go. Then we can put it in our book, and it's legal.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then when there's not a pandemic and you have to wait for ink, how long does the process usually take once you send it to your printer?
Well, so this process is going to end up being like 6 months. So we'll see. I mean, I hope this big log jam or whatever breaks up. They say it will come to an end. I don't know.
Hope so.
I don't know.
Hope so. Oh, I just lost. I had another question.
What's your typical number of copies that you make? I guess.
Good question. We do about 1,500 books per order.
Wow.
And we've probably ordered twice on the books. So I'd have to look at my Excel sheet, but
you guys have sold a lot.
2,000 of each book.
Wow. Wow. And when you get a new book is published, do you have to go back around to all your stores again and say, hey, we have an edition, we've now got this one?
Yes, and we most of the stores carry them all, but we've learned that a few months before I'll be sending them emails and letting them know and showing the cover, and so they're excited about it,
Awesome.
I really like the idea with the animals. That's a neat way to show the diversity. I like that. And it's, kids love animals too.
Yes, and most of the characters are after people that we know. We ask them if they want to be in the book, and what animal they want to be. Could be their family pet or a zebra or whatever they want to be. They get to be that character. All my family members and nieces and nephews, my son, they've all been in the book.
Fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Even some teachers have wanted to be in the book. Some of my friends at work, so they were in the book.
That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not scandalous, like, oh, do you think that's that person?
Yeah, I hope not.
That's so cool.
So what brings you the most joy in the writing, creating a book process?
For me, it's going into schools and reading, to see kids get excited about, to think that you put your words, they're excited about your words and the art, something you created that they're excited about. That's and to be able to go into a library and check out your own book, that's like magical. And to know that we can contribute, like when we were able to contribute to the food bank or to schools, I mean, it feels really good. Like your work matters and you're doing something nice, that benefits others. That's nice.
How do you schedule, if you're a school and you're a teacher, how do you get time to go read at Waller Road, or how do you schedule your schools?
My principal has been great. Because I'm in high school, I'll get off at 2:30 and zip to, get the last half hour, the last 45 minutes of elementary schools.
Great.
So far, it's been in Puyallup.
I'll have to work on that. Mine's a little further. I'm in Tequila now.
Oh,
Wish list.
that's quite a job. That's quite a drive, isn't it?
It is. Fortunately, I take the train most days.
Nice.
That's been wonderful. For a while, I didn't get to because everything closed down for COVID. We were still open, but anyway, that's another story. But yeah.
Wow.
So
So are they in the libraries like Puyallup Library and Tacoma Library?
Yes. Yes. Olympia Library. Seattle is waiting to add any new books because of COVID. So, but they're there and they're waiting. But yes, they're in the Tacoma Libraries, the Puyallup Main Library, Thurston County system. They're down in the California libraries. So,
how fun.
yeah, and that was important to me because and they're also in school libraries, at least in the Puyallup and the Tacoma system, because I wanted kids to have access. I know growing up, that's the only way we got books was going to the library. And, you know, even book fairs, we didn't always have money for that. And I wanted them to have access.
Libraries are a wonderful thing.
Sorry. Is there any other events like, you know, you're tackling climate change? Is there any other events that interest you currently that you would think, hey, that would make a great book for kids to learn about?
My sister Julia came up with the idea of animals that are going extinct, you know, what kids can do, or I really don't know. I haven't thought past that. I think the whole supply chain thing slowed us down, and maybe that was good. We have time to think and plan.
Yeah, gosh, it seems like there are a million possibilities, huh?
Do you have any suggestions?
Well, I like Sarah's about the kind of negotiating and how do we do that? I mean, all the way up, I think of, you know, our Congress trying to pass bills, right? There's a whole lot of negotiation that's got to take place.
Yes, true.
I love what you're doing with inclusion. Maybe something more specific on just, you know, everyone's invited.
Right.
Sorry.
We did our Olympia book. We kind of dealt with that. It was took on the Junior Senate Pages program, and characters were coming to Olympia to learn about that, and they had to vote on different things and come to a census, and how hard that was to do. And actually, we got permission we used Governor Inslee, and got permission to use him. He wanted to be a polar bear because the kids took a tour of the governor's house and got lost. So they had this whole conversation with Governor Inslee. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
So yeah, Nancy, what I'll probably do is email the group if that's okay, and send out your book titles and see if people want to order. And then I'll get back to you. Does that work?
Sure. And if they want to go on our website, it's glencreations.com, one N with Glen, GLEN creations.com. It'll show all the different titles and what they're about.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. All right.
So thank you for inviting me. This was really nice.
Well, thank you for coming. We're excited
to
look at your book some more.
Okay.
Very interesting, you know, to learn about that stuff. Yeah.
Thank you.
And we'll all go Christmas shopping now.
Yes, we will.
Oh, good.
So thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Bye.